Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to round 5 of season 6 of FormulaXbox. We're in Spain today, circuit to Catalunya in Barcelona, and it was a decidedly wet Barcelona in qualifying. Very weird to see such rain in Spain, but it was absolutely teeming down. And yeah, the man who mastered it best was Casey Legend, who put his Toro Rosso on pole position for the first time this season with a very, very solid lap. It was RBZ who came second on debut as well in the Haas, so good things I'm sure to come from RBZ, a very experienced racer with a lot of pace at his disposal. So it is round 5. We are looking for our 5th different winner in 5 races today, and it's been super competitive for this early part of the season. We've seen numerous drivers on the podium, we've seen numerous potential championship contenders as well, and nobody that's really set themselves apart yet from the field and becoming the RLS-TRM, shall we say, of the league so far in season 6. Fascinating to see as well what the tyre strategies will be today. Tyre wear has been particularly heavy in practice, and we've seen a lot of degradation on all the compounds really, and a lot of drivers have been complaining they can't turn on the medium or hard compound tyres. The soft is by far the fastest and has a big pace advantage over the rest, but it's whether you can get the hard tyre working and take advantage of the longevity it provides. So we're just about set here for the off, as we see drivers just making their final preparations before getting into their cars and getting this race underway. So there's our pole sitter Casey Legend in the Toro Rosso as well, going through his last preparations with his engineers, hoping to convert pole into victory today. And he will become the 5th different winner in 5 races if he can manage that. As we see 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 red lights now. We're on board with Drastic Midget. Lights out and away we go here. Drastic Midget slow away, potentially a strategy from him as he's holding back. We've seen lots of carnage in lap 1 and 2 of the opening few rounds here, and I see that the Drastic Midget and KGibbsGP for that matter seem to be holding back and trying to let the carnage unfold. It hasn't though this time. We've seen a Haas off to the left there of Maestro, but ultimately everyone's made it through nice and cleanly by the looks of things, so this race has got to a nice clean start. Maestro still recovering, it looks like, from his early off at turn 1 as he drops down to P15 and Drastic Midget in P16. We've got a Toro Rosso off to the right there. That looked like Luke, season 5 champion Luke, coming to grief once again on that one. When is this guy going to catch a break this season? He's been so unlucky so far, and it looks like his luck's not returned for this race at all so far. As we're on board now, Drastic Devil coming from P15 on the grid, around the outside of Sam for P9 off the line. It's Fernando Alonso-esque so far from Drastic Midget on this lap. Sam's not given up yet though, as Drastic Midget looks to, Drastic Devil I should say, holds at the outside once again, as we saw the aftermath there of Luke's spin as he got tagged by the looks of things, and has got a lot of work to do now as he looks to recover. Drastic Devil though recovering from a poor qualifying, as we see Project having a bit of a moment and a bit of a spin there as well. Yeah, Drastic Devil wasting no time on lap 1. Sinan's gone wide as well, so that's P5 for the Red Bull man. Superb first lap. 15th to 5th isn't bad, is it really? As he looks now to chase down Hickey. Drastic Devil starting on the medium compound tyres as well, so he's going for a longer first stint compared to the soft tyre runners like Comundo behind him, who will probably have the edge on pace so far in these early stages of the race, and will probably be coming at Drastic Devil. As we see now, he's actually even in the slipstream, and just as I say that, he might even make a move on the way into turn 1, forcing Deer down the inside of the Red Bull. Drastic Devil will have the high ground for turn 2 though, and holds station for now at least. But Comundo on that soft compound tyre is going to be a very tough negotiator in this particular battle, as he's going to go down the inside again into turn 3. Is he going to have the legs on Drastic Devil as he tries to hold it around the outside? He's held it for now at least, so hangs on to P5. Tenacious stuff from Drastic Devil here, hanging on to the position, gets the drive out of turn 5 as well, and holds Comundo off for at least a few more corners at least. As we see KGibbsGP now making a move on prototypbudgie around the outside. Budgie gets on the brakes and it causes a bit of a domino effect behind him as Project slows down. Drastic Midget goes into the back of Project, damages his front wing, so it'll be interesting to see whether he has to box for that one, or he'll probably manage to last until the actual first round of stops. Whether he'll have to get it changed or not at that pit stop, we'll soon find out as he tries to get a feel for what the car balance is like now after that damage. As he gets very close to the back of Prototype Budgie there, who's been dispatched by KGibbs, as KGibbs now goes marching on. He missed qualifying, hence started at the back of the field, so he's got a lot of work to do now as he looks to try and recover some places. Much like Luke as well, he'll be a bit further back off of this train as he recovers from his lap 1 spin. For a change, he doesn't have any damage to pit 4 on lap 1, but ultimately it's a lot of cars in between him and the podium. As we see now, Nor on the hard compound tyres down the inside of Sam, bang wheels into turn 1. That was particularly rude from Nor there. All fair, but ultimately a very, very hard move on Sam. And Nor's pace on this hard tyre is going to be fascinating. You may remember right at the start, right at the top, I mentioned about how it's difficult to turn the hard tyre on. As you see, Prototype Budgie is the only other man to be running that hard compound tyre in this early stage. And it'll be interesting to see how they go. If they can get them good pace out of them, then they're going to be in a fantastic position later on in the race, as they'll be able to put on a faster tyre at the end and potentially make 1 stop less than everybody else as well. Nor seems to be going very well at the moment, up in P7, Sam behind him and Sinan as well. Sam's got the run though on Nor by the looks of things, as he absolutely clatters the curb there in the Renault. Hope they build his suspension strong. That's going to give Sam a good run now onto the straight. He's already out the slipstream. He's going to have DRS as well, but Sinan wants them, the pair of them by the looks of things. He's going on the inside of both of them. There we see the Renault pop into view. He's got the move on both of them up into P7 from P9, all down the pit straight. So a fantastic opportunist move from Sinan there, gets his teammate and gets Sam at the same time. We saw the Red Bull Drastic Devil there as well on the left. He was off the road, so a bit of an adventure for him. I'm sure we'll see a replay of that in just a few moments time as well. As we see a Drastic Midget down in P12 now. Luke on his recovery from the back of the field. Surely Drastic Midget and the Mercedes is going to be easy meat for the Toro Rosso, and there he is. Luke swoops past up into P12 and is only 2 places away from a point scoring position right now. It'll be interesting to see how far he can get as the race progresses, and as we see just a replay now, activating the DRS, a 125.4 for his last lap. So pace is pretty good on those medium tyres as he's looking to put them to good use and potentially recover. Whether he'll try a different strategy after what happened on lap 1 will remain to be seen. As we see Comundo now down the inside of Drastic Devil, putting those soft tyres to good use, and he's got the move done on this occasion, covers the Red Bull off through turn 2, and this actually is a replay by the looks of things. This is how Drastic Devil ended up on the outside at turn 3 as KGibbs swooped past, as well as the 2 Renaults and the Ferrari as well. So that's 4 places lost, or 5 if you include Comundo, in the space of 1 corner for Drastic Devil there. His promising start ultimately coming to nothing, at the moment at least. As we see Sinan now still under pressure from Sam. This is tremendous stuff from the 2 Renaults and the Ferrari in these early stages, giving us plenty of entertainment as Sam now gets the move down up in P6, and he's now at the head of this ever-growing train. It looks like KGibbs and Drastic Devil are going to be on the back of this lot very shortly indeed as they continue to fight. And right on cue, here's KGibbs' perspective of this dice. Sinan's now dropped to P8. We've got Nor ahead of him as well, and it looks like KGibbs is going to shape up for a move down the inside as they head through turn 4. He's got the move done, has he? Yes, he's passed Sinan for now at least. He locks up though going into turn 5. That's going to cost him the position potentially. Drastic Devil appears into view. Wow, he didn't leave him much change there on the exit. That was particularly rude, as you see Sinan makes the move as well. But Drastic Devil leaving KGibbs no space, no quarter given there. As we see KGibbs has a cheeky little look up the inside of Sinan, but no cigar at turn 9. Sinan has that one covered. As we see a replay now of Drastic Devil as he picked off 2 cars in the space of 2 corners. Here's his move on Sinan around the outside of turn 5. Later on the brakes, as you see KGibbs goes wide as well and thinks that's an opportunity. Pushes his teammate wide, leaves him no room on the exit. All fair, but very, very brutal from Drastic Devil there, and he's not going to stop that either. He's going to have Nor now by the looks of things with use of the DRS, but the Renault has DRS from Sam as well, so it's going to be a drag race as they head into turn 1. Which one's braver on the brakes? Drastic Devil on this occasion by the looks of things. He's got the high ground at 1. That's going to give Nor the high ground at 2 though. They're still side by side as they enter 3, but Drastic Devil gets his nose ahead and gets the move done on the Renault there. You'd expect that given his higher performance, better performance from the tyre compound he's on, but still lovely driving there, lovely racecraft from Drastic Devil, and makes the move stick. He's on a roll at the moment, as we see. Speaking of being on a roll, Luke's made his way up into the points now, P10, makes his way past Lars, who's had quite a quiet start in this race, but ultimately we saw in Russia last week he had a bit more of a eventful time of things, so that could of course all change around as we see pit stops now being made. Sam comes in, exchanges his set of soft tyres for a set of medium compound tyres. He's made those softs go quite a long way into this race, as we see Drastic Midget pitting on the same lap, and he started on the medium compound tyres, so Sam doing what Sam often does, which is stretch their tyre life further than most others can. As you see, Drastic Midget switching onto the soft compound tyres and in fact replacing that front wing that we saw him damage in the incident project earlier on. And that's now put Drastic Midget right at the tail of the field, P16. So if he's going to make the front wing change worthwhile, he's going to have to turn on the pace in the second stint here, as we see Nor making the move stick on Drastic Devil. As Devil's tyres begin to show signs of wear at the moment, he's pushing them pretty hard in this opening stint, making lots of overtakes, and ultimately Nor, with those hard compound tyres, is making them work very, very well at the moment. It has to be said, for him to be holding station in P3 on tyres that are very much the slowest compound of the bunch. He's doing a remarkable job as he makes contact with Drastic Devil there, though. Drastic Devil leaving his nose in probably a little bit too long, a little bit longer than he should have done, and ultimately paying quite a price there. Loses out to Sinan. He's got RBZ all over the back of him as well, and unsurprisingly heads to pit lane to try and exchange those tyres for a set of new ones as he gets on the brakes down to the 50-mile-per-hour speed limit. And it'll be interesting to see what tyre he goes on to and if he can continue what has been rapid pace in the opening stages of the race. We check in now with prototypbudgie on his hard compound tyres, the only other man barring Nor to start on the hard compound. And you see Drastic Devil moves on to the hard compound tyre, and what has gone on there? prototypbudgie wide at turn 1 into the gravel trap, and that's undone all the work he tried to do on his hard compound tyres. He loses a lot of time in that particular incident and project. Makes his way through just one lap later, having already stopped, as it goes for a rather ambitious lunge down the inside. prototypbudgie there with what looked like was about to be a big accident, and somehow got on the brakes just in time. As we see Sam now passing Josh, who seems to be in trouble in his Williams. Whether he's got a puncture, I don't know, but is certainly dropping back at the moment. As we check in once again with prototypbudgie now in P13 on those hard compound tyres, still yet to stop, and Project once again in the wars. He's out wide, just as he was on that one with his spin, and prototypbudgie makes the move stick on Project with his far inferior tyres. It's probably only a matter of time until the Sauber comes back through. prototypbudgie may even have to give the position back now after jumping across the chicane like that. Whether he'll even be asked by the stewards is another thing, because the Sauber's already going to be making the move, as is the Haas, before they even get to turn 1, so that's going to make the stewards' decision a lot easier for them, as both cars make it past the McLaren, and that puts prototypbudgie down into P14. So points look like they might not be on the cards for the McLaren driver today, unless there's a lot of action to be had up ahead in the remainder of the race. We're not even at half distance yet, to be fair, so we're seeing lots and lots of action so far. So speaking of action, here goes Sinan with a move on Drastic Devil. Both of them on the hard compound tyres now, as is KGibbsGP just behind as well. So a lot of people, by the looks of things, switching to the much more durable hard compound for the middle stint. It just gives you so many more strategic options for the rest of the race. As we see now, tooth and nail, these guys are going to be fighting it out for P8. Drastic Devil's trying to hang it around the outside. Sinan goes deep though. Drastic Devil cuts to the inside, and is going to get the job done now as they head into turn 5. So position gain for Drastic Devil. I've lost count of the amount of overtakes he's made so far in this race, and Sinan certainly had been in the action as well, in all areas in fact. So Drastic Midget goes wide, gets a bit of a tank slapper in the gravel, in the grass, hits the wall, and that's his race over, as he has to retire once again from the Spanish Grand Prix. We saw in Season 2 he had an accident at the very same corner, and ultimately he's had another one. Spain's certainly another track that's kind to Drastic Midget. As Sinan now swoops around the outside of Drastic Devil, they bang wheels as they head through turn 2. and the Renault makes the move stick on the Red Bull. Superb racecraft there to get that job done through the first and second corner. Drastic Devil though is not going to take that lightly as he goes up the inside as they head through turn 4, still side by side. These two are glued together in combat, and KGibbs has got a front row seat for this particular battle. Drastic Devil seems to want to snap back at Sinan at every possible opportunity, but he's going to be held off now. He's got a virtual safety car deployed for Drastic Midget's stricken Mercedes, so not going to quite change the race up as the safety car would do, but ultimately is going to put the pause button on Drastic Devil and Sinan's battle, and ultimately is going to allow KGibbs some time to think how he can get involved in the mix and try and get himself up to P8. As we see now, Maestro and Project are locked in combat as well for P12 and P13 as the race gets restarted, and Maestro says see you later the Project. Ultimately a much better restart from Maestro there as he looks to make his way up through the field. As we cut back to Drastic Devil, who's side by side with Sinan once again on the restart, and Drastic Devil, potentially a better restart from him as well, makes the move stick, so he's now up into P7. Sinan demoted to P8, KGibbs in P9, and it's going to be a three-way fight sooner rather than later, I feel, as we see a replay now, in fact, of how Drastic Devil made that move on Sinan. And so still under virtual safety car at the moment. Drastic Devil dropping back, KGibbs all over the back of him there, maybe even touched the rear of the Red Bull as they got very, very close together. Virtual safety car ending, yeah, Drastic Devil just a lot sharper to it and got on the power a lot earlier than Sinan did, and ultimately with that, even without DRS on this occasion, had the inside line later on the brakes as well and got the job done. So close, just ran Sinan out of road as well through turn 2, which he was entitled to do with the high ground for the corner. And well, this is going to be a fascinating battle until the end of the race by the looks of things. They're so similar on pace, and neither one will allow the other to pull away once they do make a move stick. DRS proving particularly powerful as well so far. But as we see, KGibbs now on lap 19 is going to be shaping up Sinan. He's quite a way back at the moment, but he's closing to the head on the brakes into turn 1. The Renault turns in, the two of them collide, so it's disaster for KGibbs. He's going so well on his recovery drive from the back of the field. Sinan's fallen down the grid order as well into P10 after that contact. So disaster for both of them there as they were locked in combat with Drastic Devil, but that's a let off for the Red Bull driver as well, who's now got some breathing space between himself and P8. As we see now on board with Sinan, that incident, KGibbs was coming from quite a way back, to be fair. And yeah, Sinan just turns into the corner. Probably didn't expect the Mercedes to be there, in fairness to him. But yeah, ultimately, you can see both sides of the story there, really. KGibbs felt the move was on, he was closing on Sinan. He shewed his wheel very, very early on as well, as they headed into turn 1. But Sinan didn't see him coming, and to be fair, was entitled to turn in. It was an ambitious one from KGibbs. As we see Hickey now making the move on Drastic Devil, and much more easily this time into turn 1. That's how you do it, and gets the job done. As we see now that Drastic Devil's perspective of that move on lap 20, as his tyres seem to be giving up already. Hickey on the same compound, but had a lot more grip coming off that last corner, and ultimately it was a sweet move from Hickey down the inside. Again, did what Drastic Devil did to Sinan just a couple of laps earlier, and closed off the opportunity for a fight back through turn 2. As we see Comundo now all over the back of Drastic Devil, and now in front of Drastic Devil as Sinan makes his way past as well. The Red Bull's dropping like a stone. He was passing people earlier, and now he's the one being passed. As you see Sinan in the Renault all over the back of the Force India, shaped up for a move as they headed into the complex, but ultimately not on this occasion. He'll wait for the DRS now, and it'll be interesting to see whether Comundo actually has that DRS service as well from Hickey ahead. I don't think he will. As we saw Drastic Devil there peel off into the pit lane, unsurprisingly. He didn't make those hard compound tyres go very far into the race, and that's going to seriously compromise his strategy in the closing stages. As we see Sinan now down the inside of Comundo. Comundo didn't get the DRS, and that's ultimately cost him in the fight for P6. Sinan's recovered well from the contact with KGibbs and has made some excellent moves on his fight back to ultimately where he probably feels he should be after what's been an excellent race from him so far. Drastic Devil, as we see a replay of him dropping like a stone through the field, and there we go with Sinan just having his look up the inside of Comundo, showing him a wheel, but ultimately Comundo was a lot later on the brakes, and in reality, Sinan made the right choice, I feel, waiting for DRS service, and that ultimately made the move a lot easier than it would have been trying to pass just before the chicane. The Drastic Devil picking up a pit lane speeding penalty there as well. I wondered why we were viewing that from Drastic Devil's perspective, and that was why. Boxing for a set of medium compound tyres is a very, very costly stop for him. He's going to have to serve a drive-through penalty, and that's going to seriously scupper his chances of some big points in this race after what was such a promising start and a great first lap from him. As we see now, Comundo coming under pressure from Lars in the manor. Lars has been going about his race pretty quietly, in fact, but ultimately just picking off cars, working his way through the field, and ultimately on those medium compound tyres looks to have a lot of pace about him now. As we see Lars now trying to make the move on Sinan, and he's got such a good front end on that manor. Turns it in lovely and sweetly into turn 3, and ultimately looks like he's going to have the job done into 4 as he has the high ground for the corner. Sinan's hanging it out around the outside, but on those hard compound tyres, I don't think he's going to be able to hold on. He's going to look to the inside for 5, but no, Lars, superior grip on that manor, is up into P5, and with a front end on the car like that, the way that was biting into corners, I can see him getting a lot further up the field as well in the remainder of this race. And that 31 of 33 now, heading into the closing stages. Sinan's had a moment there in P6 that's going to allow Sam through, and that's possibly going to allow Luke through as well. Yes, as we see from Luke's perspective, Sinan just about saw the Toro Rosso coming as the Toro Rosso goes down the inside, makes the move stick, and is up into 7th. Excellent recovery from Luke. He's made his way through the field about as well as could be expected, in fairness, after dropping all the way to the back on lap 1. As we see now Hickey on what is the penultimate lap, closing in on Lars as they battle for P4. Lars with another excellent race after what was a pretty strong showing in Russia, particularly in the racecraft side of things. And Hickey on those hard compound tyres goes around the outside at turn 3. Superb driving from Hickey there, and fantastic grip provided by those hard compounds. He's got those working very, very well. And that's Lars demoted down to P5. Is he going to be able to fight back in these last 2 laps? He looks to the outside at turn 5. He jinks to the inside now, down the inside of Hickey. Them 2 make contact. That's dropped Lars. He's lost a lot of time there, and that could prove costly in these closing stages. As we see, no such dramas for Casey. He's led from start to finish a very, very quiet race by him, but ultimately a successful one as he bags 25 points, his first win of the season, and ultimately the 5th different winner in 5 races of what has been a wide open season 6 so far. As we see KGibbs cross the line in P11, disastrous race for him, but it was Casey who took home the maximum points from RBZ with a superb debut, closing in 2nd place. And Nor, after his excellent stint, excellent pace on hard compound tyres right at the beginning of the race, closed out P3. So some new faces, a new face on the podium there, and a new winner in what has been a fantastic season to date. Plenty of overtakes in that race, some fantastic racecraft as well. A bit of drama with KGibbs and Sinan's incident, which will probably go to the stewards, and there'll be a debate about that one later on in the steward's office. Oh, to be a fly on the wall, hey. But ultimately, I hope you've enjoyed this race today, guys. Please leave your thoughts in the comments section below. I've been KGibbsGP. This has been FormulaXbox, and until next time, we shall see you very soon. Goodbye.